Okay, we're back. We're back. I hope you enjoyed the inaugural, first time ever version of What Kitty Can't Catch. It did not go as well as we had hoped, but that's alright. Round two brings on Leon Bridges, a good thing. Once again, tunes come first in this kitchen. So while our stock is stocking away, we're going to take our pot that we're actually going to make our soup in, throw it on the stove. Once again, we're going to need a little bit of that old vegetable oil to keep it vegan, right? For what it's worth. I mean, I guess you could use butter if you wanted to, but this is the vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, shade-grown. You know, we got tubers and whatnot. So we're going to take all the carrots, celery, and onions from earlier. We're just going to throw them right into this pot, and we're going to slowly, so we got on about a number 3 on the old stove top, and we're going to slowly saute those up, break them down. They're going to be the main part of our soup guts. So while we work on that and let it do its thing, you can notice that the stock is still simmering away as it does. And now now we got to do the potatoes. So we've decided that we think we would like to peel them. So first, we're going to give the potatoes a destination. Since they're getting ready to go for a bath, we're going to fill up this bowl, you know, halfway, 2/3, enough to give them some space to move and groove and do what you will. Some people are going to want to use a peeler when they peel their potatoes. I'm more of a paring knife fellow, so that's what we're doing, using that paring knife. Now we're trying to do all of this cooking, as it were, and what I think is understand as real time. I think all time's real myself, but anyway, real time. So we're just going to give you a sense of what kind of time it takes by actually doing it. Now, I've been cooking for a time, probably about over 25 years, so I may be faster than you, I may be slower than you, I may be just right for me, and that's probably the most important thing to remember in all this, is when you're cooking, you got to make it just right for you. So that was kind of the idea behind scratching the surface, was to put a focus on making homemade things, you know, from scratch. And then just that wonderful thing that gets evoked when you say scratching the surface, which is quite simply that there's so much more you can do. There's so many more possibilities, flavor combinations, personal preferences. There you go. As you can hear in the background, our celery and onions and carrots are just starting to saute. So we'll go over there, you know, give them a stir, give them work. That's going to happen. And they're going to do that while we keep working on peeling and quartering up our potatoes. This is the other thing that comes with time. If you've cooked for a living, or if you've done it a lot, just as a labor of love, a labor of duty, or just no labor at all because you actually don't consider it work. Two things at once. If you can do 2 things at once, presumably you're going to cut your cooking time in half for some things, at least your prep time. So, like they'll say on other cooking shows or in your recipes in a cookbook, while this is happening, work on this next thing. So we are doing that right for you right now. We got about 1 more potato left. I'm going to tell you right now, unless we do a little bit of a baking thing, I'm not too great with measuring stuff. A lot of stuff I do by feel. So I don't know if what we're making is equivalent to 5 medium potatoes, 6 medium potatoes. There's a few of them here, enough to get cut down. Once again, a reminder, we have, you know, washed our hands again whilst getting ready to do our potatoes. So our stock's still stocking, and our carrots and celery and onion are still doing their thing. We're going to use that other bowl we had for composting the potato peels. If you know of anything good to do with the potato skins, let me know, other than using them for your garden and your kitchen scraps. Mind you, of course, if you decided to not peel them and just wash your potatoes, then you don't even have to deal with that question. And once again, we're going to try to have all our ingredients, at least the potatoes, all cut about the same size. We're still going for this sort of like centimeter by centimeter by centimeter dice. So again, we're going to have it cook uniform. So ideally, none of our potatoes are mushy, while some of them are still rock hard. It's just a thing that you give yourself an advantage of doing if you in fact cut them all to the same size. And so the timing, just in case you're curious, is we started up on the potatoes and sauteing the vegetables about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes after we in fact brought our stock down. Because what we're going to try to do is do it all in one, so that when it comes time for us to drain our stock, use our stock, put our stock into the soup, that we're going to be able to pour it right into our soup pot and not worry about keeping extra. Now, if you're going to keep extra, then obviously you're not going to want to pour your stock directly into your soup pot. So we got about one more large potato to do here, and then we'll be in business. So as you can see, we're basically pretty uniform. Oh look, there's another one. We actually had two in there. So we're gonna work on this. Again, I think if you can, make it fun when you're cooking, or something enjoyable. I gotta be honest, I have a soft spot for Sol and the San Diego Padres. Not in that order. I was a Padre fan first, I think, but one never knows what you hear in the crib, in the womb, and then from there on. So we're gonna have some soul or R&B in the background while we do our cooking. We're on our last potato. I'm gonna go give our carrots and celery and onions another stir. And this is one of the other things that's helpful when you cook at a lower temperature. It's more forgiving. Give yourself some more time. These are just starting to break down, so we'll keep tossing them around. And we're going to drain that first thing of potato water, get rid of some of the starch, and then we'll give it a fresh bath. So we're just going to drain this. You can drain this with your hand. And there you go. You can see some of that water is a little cloudy. Not too bad. And it'd be great to have some guest hosts, some friends come in, sub in. Let us know how you want to do that. Or if you actually bother to watch this and have fun with it, ask your questions. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I'll certainly happily try to address anything we can do. There's so many resources online, the interweb, the whole bit. No shortage of people telling you what to do, how to do, and for that matter, where to go sometimes. You're not going to find that here on Scratching the Surface. We just wanted you to join us in the kitchen, maybe have some fun. So while this is cooking down, now that we have our potatoes ready, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. because we're at about number 5 now. Because I'm gonna watch it. Now the thing is, for the seasoning for this character is nothing much more than some salt and pepper and a little thing we store around our house called Bragg. I don't know if you folks know it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's this. It's Bragg all-purpose liquid soy seasoning. It's gluten-free, so keep that. Obviously, if you're a soy person, you're probably not going to use it. Maybe you want to use something else. But what we're going to do is just have that to add some flavor to it. Deglaze a little. It's not like your traditional deglazing process. It's not a lot stuck to the bottom of our pot. So we find some salt up here. Once again, I don't know. What does that look like? A teaspoon and change? Teaspoon and a half? Probably a teaspoon. We'll throw a little more in. Remember, friends, you can always add more. It's harder to take away. Just like when you're cooking steaks, right? You can't turn a medium well into a medium rare, but you can turn a medium rare into a medium well. But maybe you know that, maybe you don't. Like I say, some of this chatting will just be to break the silence, keep us entertained, keep us going together. We're going to try to track down a little bit of that black pepper now, which is over here. Some ground black pepper, you know. This is not necessarily any kind of Szechuan super peppercorn delight thing. We're working with what's around, and that's kind of what cooking from scratch and scratching the surface is all about. Just working with what you got, having fun, making it available. So we've worked down the vegetables. We're going to throw in some of this Bragg. It's a good hefty squirt. And while that cooks a little bit, then we'll add in the potatoes. And toss the potatoes around a little bit in this goodness so that they absorb some of that Bragg flavor. So once again, we'll drain it one more time. Now we've gotten rid of all the extra starch for the most part, from what we can tell. These are just potatoes we had on hand. Look like, you know, regular potatoes. It could be russet potatoes, it could be red potatoes, it could be yellow potatoes. It could be a Kato potato. I don't know. We're just going to throw it all in here. You see that? I'm trying not to get much of that water in there, but we're not going to get penalized if we do. So this will get mixed around. And then it's been about our 45 minutes for our stock. So if you want to come and look at that, we'll move it up here. We got this, just in case you weren't paying attention, 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes. So you can remember what it might have looked like earlier. And now this is what we got here. You'll see that already what our water was and what it is now is not the same clear goodness that we're fortunate to have in this part of the world, Sackville, New Brunswick. We're going to get a strainer here. And so we're just going to pour that in. And so we're just going to put that with the strainer already in there. And that's just going to do up some of our water. We can splash around. And then we'll come back and check in on it in about 15-20 minutes. We'll see you then. Here we are now, back at scratching the surface. We've cooked out the potatoes with our carrot, celery, and onion base, put in our salt and pepper, our Bragg, used our stock, and now everything's done. Your carrots, potatoes, and such should probably be just about fork resistant, fork tenderness. Like here, I'll show you. Grab a little soup here. So there we go, we got our soup. Now if you want to add stuff to this. If you want to put in some kidney beans, if you want to put in some corn, some sweet peas, now's your time. You can, especially if this is canned or frozen stuff, just put it in at the end. And so you're going to notice here that, boop, our potato just comes across. It tastes good, looks good, feels good. And just like that today, you got some parsley in your fridge. You want to cut that up and throw that in there too for color. You can add some parsley. So today on Scratching the Surface, we made vegetable potato soup. Started by teaching us all how, or reminding us how to make a veg stock with that mirepoix, carrots, celery, onions. Take those ends, take those peelings, saute them for a few minutes, add some water, bring them up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, simmer it for about 45 minutes, an hour, as long as you've got, or as long as you want to take to get some color into it. And then as far as the potato vegetable soup goes, we sauteed those vegetables. Once again, the celery, carrot, and onions. When those were broken down enough, we added the salt, pepper, switched that around, gave it a shot of Bragg. Then we put in the potatoes, cooked that around so that the potatoes absorb some of the Bragg flavoring and salt and pepper goodness. Strained our veg stock into it. Cooked that out for about 15-20 minutes to get the potatoes and carrots and all the vegetables to just the right doneness for us. And then left it open to add extras as you might feel. Corn, beans, peas, whatever you please. This has been Scratching the Surface. Scratching the surface at your service. Later.